Hello, everybody, and welcome to another amazing interview. Joining us today is Aram, who is an incredible VFX artist, 3D animator, and honestly, one hell of a liminal space architect. Not only does his work span from the concepts of a liminal space dream that we're all experiencing, but it also gives you that sense of nostalgia mixed in with that uneasiness of, hey, you're not supposed to be here. Aram, so glad to have you here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. So if you could go ahead and kind of describe yourself as an artist. I know that that's probably a question that a lot of people hate, but I kind of want to get some details regarding or some insight into like who you are as an artist and how you started. If you can kind of run us through that, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'll start by saying, I guess, who I am as an artist. The reason I started, at least my animations and this form of art was to evoke like feeling in the viewer. And I think that's kind of the goal with every artist is to like evoke some sort of feeling or question, relating to your art.
Right.
And I think that's always been my goal as an artist, uh, was to evoke, in my case, nostalgia, or maybe like this eerie feeling in my videos.
Okay.
And I think they do a good job of giving those vibes off.
Do you feel like there is a lot of your own personal experiences like in your youth that you are pulling directly from, or is this a way to, and this might be a long shot here, maybe a strange question, or are you wanting to capture the youthfulness and the memories and nostalgia of like other generations that have already gotten really freaking old? Because there's a lot of things in your work that I resonate and I connect to. So I'm just curious, like, are these things that you have experienced yourself in your youth, or is it something else?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess it's different for everyone because, there isn't a specific age range that, watches my videos. But for me, yeah, I definitely drive from my childhood, especially with my most recent video. I did like an arcade one, and that was
Yeah.
completely centered around me going to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid, and I even pulled the Tower of Power machine.
No
Um,
way. Oh, that's so true.
exactly, I literally ripped it right from Chuck E. Cheese. So
Dude, how much time did I waste on that? Oh, see, that's the thing. It didn't click, but I was like thinking like I had seen that before. But look at that thing. It's just, oh, that's beautiful. And you even have like the rotating smiley on there on top of the fur. Like, that's your own touch though.
I had to I had to
Yeah.
personalize it a little bit.
That is so cool. I really wanted to talk about that latest video, and it's on TikTok and Instagram, and I think also I don't know if you're posting short form on YouTube as well.
Yeah, there is actually a horizontal version that's not in the real format.
Oh,
So if for people that wanted to watch it that way,
oh,
and it's
that's
full
sick.
length, it's not like cut up or anything. So
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't realize that you were also posting the horizontal format. That's really good. I really enjoy horizontal a whole lot more than the vertical format, but that's just me. I like both, but I would prefer the other one, to be honest with you.
yeah, I think that's my goal for this year, just to like get more out in that format and longer videos for sure. Because everything I post is around like 15 to 30 seconds. So
Okay.
if I can get
Okay.
out, 10-minute, 20-minute videos, that'd be pretty cool.
So to go back to explaining yourself as an artist and the I guess the feelings that you want to convey, and also when it comes down to art in general, it's always up to the viewer's interpretation. Like they'll definitely receive it in a different way. But I think that when it comes to your type of work, or work that I do regarding anything sort of nostalgic, dreamcore, liminal, and etc., that sort of atmospheric work, there is you can be rest assured to always receive one type of way of feeling, a way to resonate with the artist. I feel like it comes down to understanding that you're in for a trip down memory lane, and I feel like there is some safety within the eeriness. I feel like that's where a lot of us get that feeling of comfort. A lot of people also feel it's extremely eerie as well, and you said yourself that you're trying to convey that, like make something kind of off and weird, but not. I'm getting a vibe from your work. I always have that it's not meant to scare you, but it's meant to just be comfortable, but in an unsettling way. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going for. And I think all like the liminal horror now, beside the fact that it's all like AI now, which kind of sucks.
I'm so mad about that. Yeah, that's awful.
It's because back when I started it was the complete opposite. AI wasn't really as good as it was,
Yeah.
Or as it is now. And so
I didn't even know it was this prevalent. Like I kind of just was posting my own stuff. I generally don't consume as much. And I checked it out. Like one day I was like, let me see what's going on, because I'm basing it off of a comment on one of my videos, my liminal space exploration videos, which is just me going out with a camera to locations in real life. And somebody said, oh, this is a breath of fresh air in the sea of all of these AI liminal videos. And I was like, what is this person talking about? And so I started searching just liminal space, and I didn't know it was like that. And that's, oh man, like I can understand why some of my friends were frustrated, but yeah, go ahead, continue. I'm sorry. That's going to be a tangent for me, or maybe another conversation, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can dive into that. But yeah, I guess when I first started, I guess what inspired me was the Kane Pixels video.
Yeah. Awesome.
And it was around when I started 3.5 years ago. So that video, I guess, the whole point of it is horror in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are liminal aspects to it, and I think he does it very well.
Yeah.
But I think when I watched that, I was more intrigued by the liminalness. It wasn't really the horror stuff for me, and so
exactly.
I do have characters in my world that do come off as eerie, but none of them are harmful in any way. They're never out to kill the person running around, right? They're just there to observe.
Yeah.
And I think that evokes a stronger feeling than just having some monster chase you down and try and kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty spot on for that sort of weird, like just not quite right character. And that's why I find characters from like games like Silent Hill, for example, where the world around them is obviously not okay, and they just live within this world, and by living in this world, they're kind of they've adapted, but they're still not, something's not quite right, but they're not outwardly like harming you in the beginning, I guess. But it's just like that weird, I'm not going to do anything to you, but I'm going to stare at you really weird. Like, I don't know, right?
Side note, I've been playing that game so much recently. The remastered one's so good.
Oh, the Silent Hill 2?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. Isn't the sound design and the music so good?
Oh yes, and the thing is, like, I never played the original, so this is like it's all so new to me,
Oh, really?
and I
Oh,
just yes,
wow.
and so maybe I'll have to play the original after. I
You
feel like
should. You should. I
that'd
feel
be
like,
right.
yeah, I feel like you would enjoy it, and I, it of course it's not going to look as good, but I really enjoy the the concept of seeing uh, developers having to um, show some sort of feeling or get something to look a certain way, but working with what was available at the time. You know, I feel like there's a lot of tricks, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, for example, that look really, really cool when you see, oh my God, like they were able to accomplish that on a on a PlayStation, like, you know, like on an old console. That's it's really good. I think you would enjoy it. But did you finish it, or you're still working your way
No,
through it?
I'm still working my way through. I only play it like here and there because I don't have a lot of free time now. But
I gotcha.
when I do, yeah, it's definitely it's one of my favorite games right now.
It's beautiful. I love it. Um. So yeah, you've touched base on how you sort of like started your work. What was the what was the first thing that you ever made that would kind of I guess cement and kind of place you on the path of where you are now?
So to go back to the Kane Pixels thing,
Yeah.
literally the night of when I watched that, I found out what Blender was, and I installed it because I didn't realize it was this free program that anyone could just use.
Yeah.
And so I installed it, and I immediately just tried to make this backrooms environment, and it did start with the backrooms and the liminal space aspect as well, but it definitely did start with the backrooms. And so my first ever thing I ever made in Blender, I skipped all the tutorials. I just tried to recreate the backrooms, and it didn't come out so hot, but
I'm seeing the picture that you sent me because Aram did send me the first ever image, and with your permission, I would love to show it to everybody if
you can
that's
throw it
okay.
up on screen. Throw it
Okay.
up.
And I don't know if you're looking at it as well along with me here,
Yeah,
but
I'll pull it up here.
but if we kind of let me know once you have it, because I feel
I got it here.
okay, so like if we look at this, it's just like, you know, it's clear that you did skip the tutorials. But here's the thing: you skipped the tutorials, but you still managed to make something,
Right,
and, which is really, really cool. The furthest I ever got when I first made anything in Blender myself was just a freaking hallway, and it was like not as well lit as this at all. And no, this is for your first time without looking at tutorials. You did a fantastic job. I'm a huge fan of the like super fucked up like tiling.
Just and that wasn't on purpose, by the way.
Wait, did you like? Did you like?
It was me. It was me. Like literally duplicating and copy pasting, and I just didn't align them right.
Oh man!
Also, I was so proud of this when I was done. Like I was showing this to everyone. I was like, "Look what I just made."
Oh man! No, it's it's. I like it. I like the light sources. It's really interesting. It's really and I don't know. I'm also noticing that the wallpaper pattern for the walls is like sideways. I would assume that
that was not on purpose either. No.
That's so cool. I love being able to look back at somebody's like first initial like work and seeing how much it's changed, you know, and you've come such a long way. So to kind of go from this to what your latest work, which is your arcades video, which is like super sick. I know that we sort of talked about it a little bit, and you talked about the Tower of Power, which is so cool. But I would like to know the process of you creating the arcade video, which is your latest work, and kind of run us through what you did, and maybe we can even from that stem into comparing, what you've learned since this first image, since then comparing it to your latest work.
Yeah, so almost every time I make a video, I start with like a feeling, or like an emotion. So I kind of build the space off that.
Huh.
And so um, for me, I think it just happened like one day. I just kind of thought about me going to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid, and that sound, the sound of the Tower of Power. That's the entire reason I made the video, actually.
That's awesome.
So I was like trying to figure out what it was called, and I only knew what the noise was in my head. So I was like really just researching and trying to figure it out. And then when I did, that's when the idea just came.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you've got like your thought process on how it all starts. Are you able to give us sort of a rundown of how you create it, like how that process starts within Blender, for example, and kind of like the steps that you take? And another question that I had too was for things like color grading and just everything for the video, if there is a lot of post process, or do you do everything like within? So kind of run us through that whole process for the latest video, if you can.
Yeah, so usually what I'll do is in the majority of my videos, there's like a main object or a main thing that the video is centered around, right? And so I'll start off with that. And so for that case, it was the arcade machine. And so I started making that first, and the room was built around that. So that was the first thing I had made. And then I didn't really have the room planned out or anything, so it was all just kind of freestyle at that point. But I
Gotcha.
knew I wanted to make that machine, and I wanted it to be like the center of the video.
So you kind of initially, like when I used to, draw, or whenever I work on like illustrations, sometimes I start with just, it's weird, I start at the eye. The eye of
I would do the same thing.
Really?
That's how I am too.
Okay.
Yep.
We could talk about that too, because that is something else that you do, is traditional work. But yeah, I would start at like the eye and then work from there. And a lot of people would say like, "What are you doing?" But it's just like it just worked. It just worked for me. But within Blender itself, what do you do? A lot of the how do I say this? Because I had a question on another interview that I did with another artist, and a lot of the color grading that they do it after the fact. Like after they render it and they export the video, then they color grade it. They don't do a lot of it within Blender itself. So like what's your situation like for that?
This is probably the answer you're not expecting, but I actually do it on my phone in the Photos app, and that's literally like I'll tweak it. I'll literally tweak it in that like last second. Like I don't do any color grading up to that point. And usually when I do color grade, at least for the videos I post on my page, I literally just will put the vibrance up a little bit, so things are just more colorful. But other than that, I don't really change too much, no.
So, and again, I'm not too familiar with Blender in the scope that you utilize it, but when you export it, when you create the video file, do you add the filter for the VHS look before that, or is that also like within your like another app or something like that?
So what I do is I will I'll export the raw like animation with no no compositing or anything into my editing program, and then I do the sound design, and then when I export it, I compress everything so it's you know, it sounds like shit. And
Yeah.
and then I will put it in. I have a VHS software, so it adds that filter to it, and that'll be the last step.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. Cool. All right. I was just curious how you got that effect in general. And there's so many different like plugins that people utilize. I know some people, I think Kane even did this as well. Kane Parsons did this where they would create the video in a digital format and then put it into VHS, and then from
Ooh, okay.
VHS put it back into digital. I think that I don't know if that's exactly how they did it. I'm trying to remember if that was one thing that he said during an older video. I'd have to kind of like go back into it, but I know there's a lot of people that have done it before. I know Matt Studio Animations has done that, where they would just put it on VHS and then from VHS put it back into digital so that it has like that official VHS vibe to it. Like it's you can't get any more real than that, I guess.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. No, but your stuff is just so well done when it comes to that, low that analog vibe. So we covered the process of your latest work. What is one of the questions, or one of the things that I had in mind to ask you here was, what's been your favorite work that you've done, a favorite project? May not even be something that you've necessarily posted personally on your platforms, and something that's not necessarily the latest one, because the latest one seems to be a really exciting one. But besides the latest one, what's been your favorite thing that you've worked on?
I'd have to say I have a few commissions I've done that were, I'm somewhat proud of.
Okay.
That I'd say probably. I've done commissions for it was for a rapper, and he wanted himself in like a Star Wars like environment, right? And so that whole thing was a challenge, because I don't usually do stuff like that. And so I think it's my favorite video just because of me being able to achieve it and not thinking I was able to at the time. And
So you like it because
yeah, I
of
mean
the
it was
complexities? You like it because of
right.
the
Yeah,
challenge? Okay.
the challenge. Yeah, and I think I go into most videos like that. I try and challenge myself and get better with each video that comes out. I try and aim for it to be better than the last. And so I'm proud when I'm able to achieve that.
What was the most difficult part of that project? Was it I'm not too familiar with the video itself, but was it that there was a lot of like compositing work that you had to do with them and your work? Like was that placing real people within your worlds that you're crafting? Is that what was going on?
Yeah, I'd say that I did find a workaround, so I was able to get like an actual video of him in the actual like Blender software. So he was in the scene,
No
on like a
shit.
2D on a 2D plane, and I had this little add-on to relight him however I wanted. So
What?
the lights in the scene actually light him in
Wait
real
a
time.
minute.
So
Like from a volumetric standpoint? Like
yeah, yeah,
no
yeah.
way.
So
So
yeah, I had lights on either side of him, and I think the hardest part was just trying to get it to look like accurate and real.
mm,
Because it does, the add-on I did have, it did like kind of make him look like a video game character, and that
gotcha.
wasn't really what he was going for. But in the end, we had the camera set up at like a little distance, so you couldn't really make out all the little details and
Mm.
stuff, but it worked out.
That's so cool. I m- see. I would, when you mentioned that from a 2D plane, I was just thinking that just his 2D image was just being lit, and there was like no volume, no depth to uh, to the character, but if it's able to do that, that's one hell of a plugin. That's
Yeah, and I can send you that video as well. So
yeah, I would love to. Yeah, no, I really want to show it to everybody so they can see, especially that particular scene where you kind of where that lighting it really sticks out. That is really neat. I'm looking at it right now. This is sick. So when he's standing amongst all the stormtroopers. That is part. You did that plugin. You use that plugin for this situation here.
No, yes, but the stormtroopers, they're all like actual models. They're all in the scene.
Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. A lot of times, here. Hold on. So the lighting on him, the kind of like the blue, the blue, the kind of like the warm and the cold hues that you see on him, that's all through that plugin.
Yeah, and his lighting, so he just sent me green screen footage of him, and so I just I turned it into like a PNG sequence, so all the images were removed, or all the background was removed, and then the lighting on him was completely different, so like I had to fix that as well. But the add-on actually, it kind of helps with the bad lighting too. So even if it's lit, and not the way you expected it to, you can always change it.
That's
but
beautiful.
I think it worked out.
That is insane. That's beautiful. Oh my god. Oh, that's so cool. Sorry, that from a technical standpoint, that just blows my mind. I didn't think that was. For me, it was like he used the lighting in his own place and kind of did it that way. But that's all you. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, of course, man.
My goodness.
I like doing that stuff because it helps me branch out from my stuff that I post.
That's really important to be able to branch out. And that was actually a topic that I really wanted to touch base on, which was not being stuck in the cyclical vibe and always doing the same thing. And I talked with Matt Studio Animations about that sort of stuff as well. And I'm always curious to know what an artist's opinion is about that. And we've over the last several years, I've noticed that a lot of people have gone from just posting the same thing over and over again to appease some sort of machine, to changing what they're providing. Like another artist friend of mine, Tristan Bennett, who does a really great liminal space photography out in the Midwest and in Mexico whenever he's visiting his partner's family and stuff like that. They do music videos now too. It's like branching out into like different things. They're working on music. They're doing all these other things, and I feel like that's kind of where you're going. You're trying to branch out from. I feel like Matt Studio Animations felt like he was getting stuck within like this backrooms loop. Like he couldn't post anything else besides that. And so, what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like it's necessary for an artist to be able to do other things and experiment outside of the fold that they've been kind of like comfortable in?
Yeah, 100%. And I've thought about this numerous times, and there are things I posted that have nothing to do with my stuff, and like I had a few videos that I made about like aliens, and I think there's only 2 of them, but that was me trying to branch out. And yeah, I mean, I've thought about just making another page for other like random stuff I'd make in Blender, and maybe see where that goes. But I do enjoy making the liminal space videos, and I think there's a lot of stuff that I can pull from it, so I don't think I'll really run out of ideas. But yeah, it's definitely a thought.
Would you consider, this is something that I said in the past, would you also consider liminal spaces and any sort of dreamcore? That sort of stuff kind of falls under the same roof at times. But do you feel like those things are a bit of a blank canvas, due to the fact that it can be as abstract and odd and out of shape and non-symmetrical as you wish, to the point that you can do anything. We went from just yellow wallpapers to now people are skydiving into gigantic pools with vaporwave statues in the like it's getting
Right, yeah.
it's so far. Would you consider it a bit of a blank canvas?
That's how I see it. Yeah, I think I can literally take anything and make it into like a liminal space video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just, and I think that's why I like tying in personal things to it, because I feel like if I'm just making a liminal space video with no inherent idea or just vibe, I think it's just, there's no point.
Yeah.
So that's why I like tying in, at least for the arcade one. That was, somewhat nostalgic for me, and that is one of my favorite videos.
Yeah, it's really good. It's my favorite video now. Just the realization also, I liked it a whole lot beforehand, but when I realized now after you talked about the Tower Power, I was like, there's just, man, it's like all that I need now is like one video to have like the Jurassic Park video, or to have the Jurassic Park arcade machine where you sat down on something and it like the seat would move around. I don't know if you ever got a chance to play that one.
Yeah.
And you would just like spam your gun on the T-Rex. It's like, and just waste so much money. You didn't get any tickets out of it. You just had a good time. It was great. Inspirations. Could you give us some sort of idea, like any sort of work of art out there, or are there artists that, I know you talked about Kane Pixels was your initial inspiration to just get into Blender. But do you have any other inspirations? It could just very well be, could be a book, it could be music, it could be anything out there, or multiple things that have inspired you to become the artist that you are today.
Yeah, I'd say early on in the beginning, like right when I started, there was an artist who doesn't really post anymore, but his name is Luke Rack, and he wouldn't post like animations or anything, but he was just so good at making these like liminal weird environments, and so I think that definitely inspired me to create the liminal world and environments that I do now, and so yeah, him and Kane Pixels are my big two, Blender artist wise, because I know they both use Blender.
They've been a monumental part of your I guess your journey through everything that you're doing right now, and I know that you have, you've stated about that, and it's just it's incredible to see, the initial your initial work having heavier influences from those people, and then as time goes on, you develop your own style, your own branding. Now, like when I go out there, I know for a fact that something is made by Aram, based off of the way that it looks and the way that it feels, and that may not have been the case earlier on, but as time goes on, it's really cool to see how influences over time help you develop who you are, and you effectively just become your own self, your own brand, which is really sick to see. I love seeing that. I also wanted to touch base on your other traditional work, because you have another account where you post like I believe it's charcoal, excuse me. You post like charcoal art. Bring us into that. I know that may be a part that of you, that may be a part of you that a lot of people don't know about yet, and this would be a great opportunity to kind of inform people of the other side of Aram that likes to illustrate on traditional media and also digital media as well.
Yeah, I mean, I started traditional art, and I've always done it honestly my whole life since I was a toddler. I was drawing with crayons. Um,
Hell yeah.
I've just always loved being able to express myself in that way, and you know get better at that. And I think that's what made me want to learn Blender, because art can be, you can make art in all these different types of ways, right?
Yeah.
And um, I think it's for me, it's just expressing myself and expressing my thoughts in a physical way.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's what I see the videos as. It's picking my brain and my thoughts in a physical video that you can watch. And so that's why I've just always enjoyed it, and that's why I love drawing as well.
When I look at your traditional work, the charcoal work on here, and the Blender work that you do, my experiences with charcoal and molding using clay and things like that, I always found myself feeling more comfortable with navigating or going from charcoal to like molding work on clay, which kind of also translates into Blender as well, in a way. Do you feel like there is some similarities? I know it's kind of a weird question maybe, but I always feel like there's a lot of people that start from a different palette or a different starting point. Like for you, you definitely work from like darker to lighter. Do you find yourself having an easier time working on Blender because of the traditional charcoal work that you've done before? Because in a way, that is a form of molding. You're sort of like, you're using, the charcoal in a different way as opposed to just like a normal pencil.
For sure, and I think it does play a role definitely in my Blender process, because sometimes I have to draw a texture
Yeah.
that I don't, I can't find. So drawing my own textures and drawing little decals that go on the walls, and stuff like that can definitely transfer over. And I think, like what you said about the the modeling with the clay and stuff, there is, I haven't messed too much around with sculpting and stuff like that, because it is more of like what you would do with clay, like sculpting a face and stuff like that. But I definitely want to get into that more, and because I think I'd be pretty decent at that if I worked at it and practice it. Although it is a lot harder than the stuff I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of artists that I have met that they're really good at utilizing, sculpting within ZBrush and Blender, and then when they get out there and actually they work on clay itself and sculpt in real life, they make some incredible shit. Like it's all like, it's great how that all translates in a way for us to do better on both sides of the spectrum when it comes to the work that we're having to do. So we've covered your inspirations, your favorite work, processes. Has there been anything out there that has annoyed the fuck out of you when it comes to things that you work on? How did you surpass it, or is it just something that you live with when it comes to working on your videos?
I mean, I think the only thing that really comes to mind is just me being a perfectionist
Ah,
and trying to get things a certain way, um, and realizing that sometimes it's just not meant to be, and
yeah.
maybe this idea just isn't working.
Mm.
And so I've definitely found workarounds, and when I trying to over perfect things, or you know get too deep into like what a certain texture looks like, I'll definitely take a step back and revisit the project at another date.
Yeah, it's good to step
And
away.
that gives it just gives me a fresh eye, and it really makes me look at the scene and the thing I built a little differently, um, which does help me in the process. And every time I do that and go, take a step back and come look back, I end up improving it. So that's like my little method to work around it.
I love hearing that. It's always like I hate it when people ask me like greatest weakness and stuff like that, but I always want to like ask, what annoys the hell out of you, but what have you done in order to overcome it? And I do hear perfectionism and imposter syndrome quite a bit. I hear those two quite a bit out of artists, and it's always it is what it is kind of attitude at times. That's all you need in order to get through it, and then stepping away and coming back and being able to figure things out that way, because you get a different perspective after just honing in on the same thing for just doing the same thing forever. You come back and you're like, wait a minute, okay, I could have done this way, and it works out. That's really cool.
And I've dealt with it a lot, especially with my traditional art. That's the majority of me, just trying to perfect it, because especially if you're trying to get realism with drawing, and you're trying to draw from a photo and make it look exactly, you kind of have to be perfect. So I think it's probably just my brain's wired from that.
Gotcha. Do you have an ultimate goal? World domination, but like, do you have an ultimate goal out there when it comes to your work, or something that you wish you could work on? I've asked this question beforehand to other artists, and a lot of them say, I wish I could work on a movie or make my own like huge, movie project, and that's the ultimate goal. I don't want to go down to like, what would be your legacy or something like that, but like what is like what could be one of the biggest goals that you have in mind right now? Like, if you could achieve something right now that would take years to do, or that you've always wanted, what would that be?
I think I have two answers. I think the first one is it's not a physical thing. It's more of just to like inspire people. I think that's my biggest goal. And
Nice.
Seeing where I came from, like I had no knowledge 3 years, and now I have, somewhat of a following, and I'm super grateful and proud of. And I just that the idea that you can create something with just an idea and have it, blow up and have other people like it, I think it's inspiring. So I think inspiring people is definitely my big one. And I do even see it nowadays. Like I get DMs that, of people saying, oh, you inspired me to start learning Blender and trying to make the animations that I do. And I think that's definitely the number one thing for me. But something I'd want to achieve, I would definitely say like a film,
Hell yeah,
or some sort of series, because I think the world I built, it's very similar to like the backrooms, and I definitely can see how people can take it that way, because it's very, very similar, and that was my inspiration. So but I think it would be cool to get a film and share my story with everyone.
That I feel like that if there's any time that could happen, it's definitely now. Not like right now, but like soon. So I feel like if you actively work towards that, we've seen creators get a chance to do some cool stuff. Like Matt's studios worked on stuff for Squid Games, and did work for Netflix. And that's really cool. There's been other people. I mean, Kane's working on that movie. That's like a huge deal.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and then now Markiplier had his movie come out, Iron Lung, which is like received very well by people who know about him, who don't know about him. But I feel like there's definitely a shift happening nowadays when Hollywood and things like that are kind of realizing, this constant Hollywood machine is probably not working out. We're noticing that people are wanting a more personal indie kind of feel to everything, and that goes down to even video games too. But yeah, that'd be really, really cool. I would love to see you work on a movie. Yeah, I think whoever has a movie that that they need your work, they're going to benefit greatly from your style and your ability. You're extremely skilled in what you do, so that I'm really excited to see. Hopefully that'll happen sometime soon for us. You did talk about inspirations, or not inspirations, but inspiring others. And the final question or subject that I had in mind here was words for others that want to start where you're at, or excuse me, that want to start doing what you do. What would you say to those people? Not necessarily how to start, because of course how to start is just pick up, just download the program and just start working on a donut, but what would you tell them? People who are hesitating, a lot of people say, oh, I can't draw, or I'm not creative, and all these other things. Like what would you tell them that, they don't necessarily have faith in themselves to get started, but they would really like to start. They have that passion to start. What would you say to them?
I think first off, don't wait for your like ideas to be like perfect and completely, planned out, and because especially when you start out, things are just not going to go as you expect them to. So, just start creating stuff, even if you're not ready to put it out yet. Or even if you don't put it out at all, just start creating, because and when it comes to Blender, there's so many tutorials out there. There's so many Reddit forums and little websites you can find that to get help. And there's the community for Blender is fantastic. Like everyone I've reached out to, has been supportive and helpful, especially when I started. I would reach out to bigger creators, whom I'm friends with now. But I would reach out for advice and for critiques and stuff like that. But yeah, just don't wait for perfection. Just get stuff out there.
Just do the thing. Just make it, and whether or not you make it for yourself or for others, first and foremost, do it for yourself. First and foremost, always do it for yourself. Whether or not you post it, like you said, it doesn't matter. Just work on something and post it. Just like Aram posted that picture, posted this picture that obviously is not the most perfect backrooms, but the backrooms is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be off center and very strange. So in a way, they did a fantastic job, in my opinion, for their first image. So, but I think that's all the time that I have for today. Aram, thank you so much for being here, dude. Thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with us, answer questions, and have an artist-to-artist talk. This has always been something that I've enjoyed doing with whomever I bring into these calls, be it an artist, a developer, or a director, or anything like that. So once again, dude, thank you so much, man.
Dude, thanks for having me on.
It's always a pleasure. And hopefully we get another chance to talk again in the near future, potentially work together or something like that. That'd be really sick to do. Folks, if you haven't already, make sure to check out Aram in all of these links that I placed in the description below. Aram, you're on YouTube, you're on Instagram and TikTok, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so I've placed all those links down there so you guys can support Aram as well, and check out their work. You will not be disappointed. Once again, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you all, and Aram, thank you for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll catch you later, man.
Yeah, see you, man.
All right, see ya.